Why run trains on 15-second schedules? A Tokyo Station departure board flickers at exactly 10:14:00. On the platform, a driver in white gloves raises a finger toward a ticking watch. In Japan, a train departing 20 seconds early triggers a formal public apology, according to Quartz. How does this system run on 15-second increments, using fallible humans instead of robots? A sleek, white Tokaido Shinkansen bullet train glides into Platform 14 at Tokyo Station. Below the platform edge, steel tracks stretch across a national network carrying over 9 billion passengers annually. On this concrete platform, a sea of commuters in dark suits parts around yellow tactile paving blocks. A digital clock on the wall ticks from 10:13:45 to 10:14:0. At that exact second, the massive steel doors slide shut with a soft hiss. This single station handles over 3,000 trains every day, serving a metropolis of 37 million people. The sheer density of humanity on these platforms looks like water rushing through a narrow funnel. Yet there are no collisions, no shouting, and no panic. According to a study by Norio Tomi at the Chiba Institute of Technology, this flawless synchronization relies on a delicate balance of hardware, software, and humanware. The machines provide the speed, but human hands steer the seconds. To understand how these workers survive the pressure of this ticking clock, we must look at a bizarre hand gesture they perform at every single signal. The wall of falling snow blankets the tracks at Maibara Station, where bullet trains routinely fly past at 285 kilometers per hour. Under this freezing sky, a single delayed train can trigger a cascading failure across the entire eastern seaboard of Japan. The Tokaido Shinkansen line operates like a high-speed conveyor belt, running up to 17 trains per hour in each direction during peak times. According to Nippon.com, this intense system has never suffered a single passenger fatality from a derailment or collision in over 50 years of operation. Most people assume this flawless safety record and extreme punctuality are the work of fully automated autopilot systems. In reality, the entire network relies on human eyes and hands to battle unpredictable forces. Earthquakes shake the islands, typhoons dump torrential rain, and millions of passengers crowd the platforms daily. A veteran driver named Kenji sits in a simulator cabin at a training center in Tokyo, facing a screen that mimics these exact chaotic conditions. He must learn to guide a 1,000-ton train to a stop on a wet rail with absolute precision. The margin for error is non-existent. If Kenji misses his mark by even a fraction of a meter, the doors will not align with the platform gates, and the entire schedule will collapse. But the secret to how these drivers maintain such perfection under pressure lies in a physical habit that looks completely bizarre to outsiders. Step onto the platform at Tokyo Station and watch a train conductor in a crisp navy uniform. He does not just look at the signal light, he points his index finger straight at it and speaks out loud. "Signal green, all clear." This physical ritual is called shisa kanko, or pointing and calling. A track maintenance worker on the platform edge does the same, pointing at the gap between the train and the yellow line. According to a study by the Railway Technical Research Institute, cited by Nippon.com, this simple physical routine reduces human error by nearly 85%. It slashes mistakes from 2.38 down to just 0.38 per 100 actions. By co-activating the eyes, hand, and voice, the brain stays locked in the present moment. This sensory loop prevents the automatic mindless slip-ups that occur when a worker gets tired during a long shift. Every single driver, conductor, and platform attendant repeats this choreography hundreds of times a day. It turns a silent mental check into a loud, visible action that everyone nearby can verify. This human precision is so absolute that the Tsukuba Express line once issued a formal written apology after a train departed just 20 seconds early in November 2017, as reported by Quartz. Yet keeping the trains safe and on time is only half the battle when thousands of passengers leave trash behind on every single trip. Behind this human discipline lies a physical blueprint designed to eliminate friction before a train even moves. In Japan, timetables are not planned in minutes. JR Central engineers map the entire Tokaido Shinkansen line using precise 15-second units. This is not a digital simulation. It is a rigid physical reality. Unlike European networks where high-speed trains share tracks with slow freight cars, Japan built entirely dedicated tracks for the Shinkansen. No slow trains block the path. No road crossings exist on the high-speed lines, removing the risk of car collisions entirely. To visualize this, think of a multi-lane highway converted into a single, closed tube, where every vehicle travels at the exact same velocity. The hardware itself acts as a physical shield. Steel barriers line the platforms, and sensors detect obstacles on the tracks miles ahead. According to a paper by Norio Tomii of the Chiba Institute of Technology, this seamless integration of hardware, computerized scheduling software, and human expertise forms the three pillars of Shinkansen punctuality. If a train running from Tokyo to Osaka encounters a delay of just 30 seconds due to a sudden gust of wind, the central computerized control system instantly recalculates the speed profiles for every trailing train on the line. The system automatically adjusts the signals, sending real-time speed targets to the driver's cabin screens. But even with dedicated tracks and automated calculations, the system still faces the chaotic reality of human passengers blocking doors at the platform edge. Inside the JR East General Training Center in Fukushima, a novice driver sits in a motion-based simulator that mimics a rainy night on the Yamanote line. Suddenly, a simulated passenger drops an umbrella onto the tracks. The recruit must react in a split second, but the real test is what happens after the emergency stop. In Japan, drivers do not just learn to drive, they learn to calculate time in their heads, like living metronomes. According to a veteran Tokaido Shinkansen driver interviewed by Japan Policy Forum, drivers are trained to arrive within 5 seconds of the scheduled time. They must also stop the train within 1 centimeter of the platform marker. To achieve this, trainees memorize the exact landmarks along the track, from a specific utility pole to a distant bridge. They know precisely what speed the train should maintain at each point. If a delay occurs, the driver uses recovery driving to shave off seconds safely. They do this by accelerating slightly faster out of curves and braking later, using mental math instead of relying on onboard computers. This intense accountability is driven by a deep social contract. A late train in Tokyo does not just delay a journey, it disrupts the entire city's economic rhythm. But even the most disciplined driver cannot keep a train on schedule if the passenger cabin is left in chaos. This entire human-machine blueprint faced its ultimate test on March 11, 2011, during the Great East Japan earthquake. At 2:46 p.m., the massive 9.0 magnitude tremor struck off the coast of Sendai. At that exact moment, 27 Shinkansen bullet trains were hurtling along the Tohoku line at speeds of up to 270 kilometers per hour. According to a report on the Tokaido Shinkansen safety record by Nippon.com, the system has never suffered a single passenger fatality from a derailment or collision since its 1964 opening. This spotless record faced immediate destruction, yet the Urida seismic detection system registered the primary shockwaves seconds before the main tremors hit. The system instantly cut power to the overhead lines. Emergency brakes engaged automatically across the entire fleet. One train, test running near Sendai, derailed its wheels but remained upright. Every single passenger train ground to a safe, controlled halt without a single injury. Within minutes, JR East engineers stepped out onto the buckled tracks to inspect the physical damage. They did not wait for central orders. Teams mobilized across hundreds of kilometers of damaged concrete viaducts, working around the clock to repair shattered supports. Because of this rapid human mobilization, partial service resumed in just 15 days. But a far more silent, daily threat constantly tests this network without warning. This extreme precision demands a heavy toll from the people who keep the wheels turning. Inside the crew rooms of West Japan Railway in 2005, a punishing retraining program known as Nikyu Kyoiku forced drivers who missed scheduled targets by mere seconds to weed gardens and write repetitive apology essays. Critics argue this relentless pressure creates a culture of fear, and they are right, as investigators found this stress directly contributed to the Amagasaki derailment that killed 107 people. When a system treats human beings like flawless clockwork, the psychological strain can become unbearable. Every worker operates under the constant gaze of a society that views a 20-second error as a national failure. This rigid conformity leaves no room for personal crisis or physical fatigue. Yet the pressure is not just mental. It is backed by a massive financial burden that every Japanese taxpayer quietly carries to keep the lines running. This relentless drive for perfection forces track maintenance crews into grueling overnight shifts, packed into a tiny 4-hour window between the last train and the first morning run. Every millimeter of steel must be flawless, leaving these invisible workers to pay for punctuality with their sleep. At its horse, Japan's rail network does not run on futuristic robots. It runs on the collective pride of thousands of ordinary people who view your time as sacred. This system teaches us 3 clean lessons. First, build a culture of active mindfulness, not passive watching. Second, treat every small delay as a systemic flaw to fix, not an acceptable error. Finally, respect the human limits of your team. Pressure must be balanced with genuine support or the system breaks. Contrast this with the crumbling, unpredictable commuter lines of New York or London, where delays are met with shrugs and passive digital signs. In Tokyo, a driver still steps out of the cabin, bows to the platform, and takes personal ownership of your day. Will our own chaotic cities ever learn to value a single second this deeply? To see how another nation quietly engineers the impossible, join us on the next journey. We will keep unpacking the hidden blueprints behind how the world's most remarkable countries actually work, right here on Nation Blueprint. That's it from Nation Blueprint. See you in the next blueprint. There's always another system worth decoding.